A Day on the Focus. Ha! Hey everyone, and welcome back to A Day on the Focus. It's Anne here, your friendly neighborhood history buff, ready to dive into the fascinating, and sometimes frankly bizarre, events of January 18th. Buckle up, Buttercup, it's a wild ride. First off, let's talk about the year 474 AD. Yep, way back then, 7-year-old Leo II becomes the Byzantine emperor. Can you imagine? A 7-year-old running an empire? Probably a lot of playtime, I bet. Sadly, his reign was short-lived, lasting a mere 10 months. Poor kid, probably missed nap time. Fast forward a bit, to 1126. Emperor Huizong of China decides he's had enough of the imperial life and hands the throne over to his son. Sounds like a pretty sweet retirement plan if you ask me. Intuits. Son, you take the paperwork, I'll take the beach. Then we have 1486. Henry VII of England marries Elizabeth of York. A royal wedding to end all royal weddings, uniting the houses of Lancaster and York and, more importantly, putting an end to the Wars of the Roses. No more fighting over who gets to wear the prettiest crown. But let's skip ahead to more modern-ish times. 1778, Captain Cook discovers the Hawaiian Islands. He names them the Sandwich Islands. What a missed opportunity for a better name, Captain. Cook's Islands has a nice ring to it, in taps. And 1788, the British First Fleet arrives in Botany Bay, Australia. The start of a very complicated and messy chapter in Australian history, full of convicts, colonialism, and kangaroos. But January 18th isn't just about kings, queens, and explorers. We've also got some pretty wild disasters. In 1977, Australia experienced its worst rail disaster ever in Granville, Sydney. And in 1988, a Chinese airplane crash claimed nearly 100 lives near Chongqing. These events serve as grim reminders of the fragility of life. On a more positive note, 1958 saw Willie O'Ree become the first Black Canadian to play in the NHL, a major moment for inclusion and representation in professional sports. And finally, let's not forget the lighter moments. In 1911, Eugene Ely made history by landing an airplane on a ship. Imagine the headlines. Man flies, then lands on a boat. Definitely a headline-grabbing achievement. And reps. ... Short creative story. Imagine this, it's 1778, Captain Cook, fresh from his discovery of the Hawaiian Islands, is enjoying a celebratory Mai Tai, which, ironically, was not yet called a Mai Tai. Suddenly, a time-traveling historian, propelled from a futuristic contraption made from spare parts of a 1977 Granville train and powered by recycled jet fuel from a 1988 China Southwest Airlines crash, lands clumsily beside him. The historian warns Captain Cook of the future's dangers. The dangers of industrialization, of over-reliance on technology, of the dangers of a 7-year-old running an empire. He implores him to be more responsible in his explorations, to think beyond the glory of discovery, and to be mindful of the indigenous populations he encounters. Captain Cook, initially skeptical, is ultimately persuaded by a vision of a future plagued by climate change and global conflict, all stemming from past missteps. The historian vanishes as suddenly as he appeared, leaving Captain Cook to contemplate the weight of his actions and the unpredictable future. And maybe to rethink that whole Sandwich Islands thing. And that's all the time we have for today, folks. Join us tomorrow for another fascinating trip through history. Remember, the past is a pretty wild place, so keep an eye out for your history lessons, even in your daily life. Until next time, stay curious.